Hey folks, and welcome to the first race of the 1955 F1 season, the Argentine Grand Prix, or the Argentinian Grand Prix. I'm not sure which one's correct, but here today to kick off the 1955 F1 season. This mod came out a few months back, did a quick video on it then, and absolutely awesome. And I had a chance playing around with it recently and thought it'd be fun to try to do the whole season. Now, 1955, as those familiar with F1 would know, a weird season in racing, I guess, in general, not just Formula One, but because of the Le Mans tragedy, disaster, really changed things up for Formula One. I'll throw up on the screen here the schedule of events. You can see up top the Argentine Grand Prix, January. Always had that first Grand Prix very, very early in the year. But yeah, first January, and we'll see it work down. There's a few events highlighted in yellow. And these were Grand Prix that are actually canceled after the Le Mans disaster. And some of them canceled permanently, obviously. Switzerland banning auto racing, and I think that still stands to this day. No auto racing allowed in Switzerland. So 4 Grand Prix in total were dropped off the schedule. And that's the French Grand Prix, German Grand Prix, Swiss Grand Prix, and Spanish Grand Prix. Those were all dropped off. I omitted on this schedule as well the Indianapolis 500. Kind of a weird thing they did all throughout the 50s. That counted towards the championship, and I think like 1 year somebody crossed over. So not going to leave it on the schedule, but I figured it'd be fun to do these 10 events. Now, I have the Spanish Grand Prix highlighted red. This is one track that does not yet exist for Grand Prix Legends. When I figure, if it happens to come out, because I know it's being worked on, if it happens to come out before we get there, great. If not, we'll have to figure it out when we get there. Maybe we'll just wait until it does come out to wrap up everything. But I figured it'd be fun to start off here in Argentina at Buenos Aires Autodromo. This track actually run quite a few times in Formula One in this era specifically. The Argentinians really big into auto racing. Perhaps one of the most famous drivers of all time, Juan Manuel Fangio, is Argentinian, and he was the person to beat in 1955, the driver to beat, won the championship, won this race as well. So he'll be the one we're chasing. But this Grand Prix came back in the 90s. Honestly, not a big fan of the circuit. We'll take a look at it in a second. But it is where we're getting started with the season. So that's kind of the quick overview on what season we'll do. Let's take a look here at the track. Why not? Same track that was used, tons of different configurations. Most of this is actually the same circuit that was used in the 90s when the Grand Prix came back for a few years there. But main straightaway, turn 1's actually pretty difficult, closing radius corner. And then we have this Mickey Mouse section up the back. Short lap. We'll do 29 laps here, doing a long distance Grand Prix. 29 laps, so 70 miles. We'll take a look at the starting grid. That's the entrant list, starting grid. So we have Juan Fangio on the pole, Alberto Ascari behind him, Jose Gonzalez and Sterling Moss making up the front row. I guess all of those names are very famous racing drivers. I'll be honest, my knowledge of Grand Prix racing is not as extensive through the 50s as the 60s, but I do recognize that front row. I qualified 5th place. See here, R. Axelson, actually Richard Axelson, famous Grand Prix driver's father. And we'll see how Richard does for the Axelsons. And then a whole bunch of other drivers, recognize some of them, not others, but these beautiful 1955 Grand Prix cars are a joy to drive and race against. And it's so different, and we'll get into that as we're racing, but just such a different feeling. For this, I'm going to be driving or at least to start here, the 1955 Ferrari 625, which wasn't the pride and joy of the Ferrari brand, I guess. They wanted the other car, the 555, I believe, to be their car to move things forward, but the 625 was a much older car, but was preferred by the drivers. It's fun to drive. Some of the handling characteristics are really cool. Progressive sets on through the throttle and everything, and it's predictable, but also challenging. These cars are super challenging to drive. So that's just about everything. The real Grand Prix, like I said, won by Fangio. I guess was extremely hot, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. A lot of drivers bowing out, and Fangio coming through with the victory. So we'll take a quick look at the car setup. This is something I haven't really shown in the past, but I know some people are interested in it. I'm going pretty much basic setup stuff. It's mostly what the mod came with. Adjusted fuel, obviously. I have quite a bit more than I'd need, but never want to run out. And honestly, the fuel matters, but it's at a certain point, it's not overly important. Biggest change is my steering ratio, just to make it quicker steering. Probably not very realistic, but it feels best to drive that way with the limited lock you get in Grand Prix Legends. So that's a lot of talking. Hopefully you stuck with me thus far. Why don't we get started with the 1955 Argentine Grand Prix. All right, here we are on the grid, second row. Got one of those streamlined Mercedes next to me. Lancia and Mercedes in front. Flag is up, down, we're underway. Taking off here behind Fangio. See Moss to the outside there. Come into the first corner, take it very easy, down into third gear. Let the car settle. Doing pretty well here off the grid to get up into fourth, past Gonzalez, I believe, in that blue Ferrari. Still in third gear, get it up to fourth now as we'll work towards the second turn. Put it into third for this corner. I have noticed the tires on these cars don't have as much of a heating factor as the 60s F1 cars. They're always very slippery. But now we'll come into this slow section. A lot of oversteer there. You have to be very progressive with the throttle in these cars. So much weight too. I don't know if you can tell just how much the cars bob around here. Now we're chasing Moss, I believe. Second gear section here. Get on the gas. Try not to get too much wheel spin. Up through the gears now. It's downhill, a couple of corners, pretty tricky. Slowly get through those. Oh, and Moss going very slow there. We'll work towards the last real corner on the track here. Get it into first gear. Up into third. We'll take the final corner flat out. Onto the front straightaway. Oh, and definitely got a good run on Moss. Passing him to the outside. Be careful going into turn one here. Down into third gear. Pretty open to start, but tightens up towards the exit. And there we go, drifting wide. Almost onto the grass. Moss not able to get past, though. He is throwing it up the inside. Be careful going too wide in these cars. Let him have that. It's early in the Grand Prix. My mistake. Gonzalez looking towards the inside. To hold him off, though. Thread ourselves here through this tight section again. Absolutely insane fans lining the circuit. On the outside of some of the corners too. It's like modern day rallying. Oh, and missing a shift there. I heard the grind of the gear. Oh, I'm making lots of mistakes here. I've turned this on with Grand Prix Legends. If you do miss a gear by not pressing the clutch at the right time, you'll grind the gears. Not sure if there's any failures associated, but it does make it a whole lot more difficult. But we're not here to play it easy. Shift back up through the gears here to complete lap 2. Definitely faster than Moss. 2 leaders up front pulling away. Alberto Ascari there in that red Lancia with Fangio in front of him. Oh, I'm struggling out wide again. Getting actually onto the grass this time. Gonzalez going to come up, try to get on the outside here. See if I can keep this position. Yes. Able to hold him off there. Get it down into first gear. Do a little heel toe there. I find it's not extremely necessary to balance these cars with the throttle when braking. Kind of just hammer that brake pedal in, get them to slow down. Do need to use a lot of the engine though, since we do have that brake fade. Haven't talked about that yet, but the yellow light just switched to green on my dash. That's my brake meter. Of course, not realistic, but in real life you would get things like smell. You'd get a lot more feel through the brake pedal to tell you how you were doing. So here we stuck a little indicator in, and absolutely love that aspect to driving this mod. Found this circuit, although we'll wear the brakes to yellow often, not overly important. I know we did Silverstone as a fun race. Oof, a little too much oversteer there. Silverstone, much harder track with the brakes. Alright, come to complete the lap. Gotta make sure I get this first turn right. Definitely the trickiest on the track. Go into third gear here. It's deceptively easy. I feel like I can enter much quicker and then need to slow down mid-turn. This time getting the line pretty well, but feeling like there's a lot of speed on the table there. Get down to third, braking a bit early. Not a good place to try to pass. See lots of skid marks on the ground, probably from myself. The brake's red already. Might have been lying about the brakes not taking too much of a beating around here. Sliding a little out wide here. Very easy to get the line wrong in these cars and then just totally miss the whole turn. Get it down into third through this downhill bit. Looks like Fangio up ahead's pulling a little bit of a lead now onto Ascari. Moss in front of me still. I'm in fourth. Still early days though. Moss has definitely picked up the pace, though I missed an opportunity there to get ahead of him for sure. Ooh, getting very close to those posts on the outside. Little sticks probably wouldn't do too much to you. Alright, keep it a little wider. On the gas a bit. Just feeling like I'm leaving so much time on the table in this turn, but so easy to overshoot as you've seen the first couple of laps. Alright, get it down to third, the second corner. Tires up to what little temperature they have now. Feeling a little better. Brakes gone, absolutely gone. Tapping the curb, that's fine. Wouldn't do that in real life, but it's fine in the sim. No risk of punctures. getting some good time through that section this time. Towards the end of the lap now, pulling up a bit on Sterling Moss. See if we can get a good run out of this corner and through that final flat out corner to pass him on the front straightaway again. Seems like a good spot to do it if I can keep it together through turn 1, but he does get a great exit on this corner. And I am getting a run, but might be a little late. Try it maybe coming into turn 1. He does brake pretty early, but he's got the line sticking behind him now. Drifting just a little wide through turn 1. Try it up the inside, no brakes, into the grass, almost hitting the tree. Get it back on the circuit though. Wow, and those brakes were just absolutely gone. Oh, and Gonzalez right there, didn't even hear him. Wow, threw it all in, thought I could make that stick, but really just couldn't get the car slowed down. The brakes absolutely shot. I'm gonna have to take it a little easier. Back up to yellow, but and it's the first race of the season. A little rusty. Very lucky I didn't wrap it into a tree there. It was actually, I think I was very, very close to the actual edge of the circuit. Fall off the edge of the world, literally. A lot of counter steering there, but gotta love that coming out of a corner. You can predictably slide these cars really nicely. Completing another lap there. Oh, I'm missing my gear into 4th. Able to get it into 3rd successfully. Scary moment there. The engine helps brake the car so much. Running a bit wide through this corner again. Really sloppy driving by me. Surprised I'm in 4th place still. I'm just not able to get the car slowed down. Gonzalez getting by. 2 laps in a row going off the track is not what I need to be doing. All right, getting it back together though. Towards the end of the lap, take a look at my pit board this lap, though I know where I'm positioned. Just check on how many laps we've completed. Most likely going to catch lapped vehicles during this race, since the track is very short. So we'll see here, P4 last lap, P5 now. I'd say 21. Busy trying to catch the car. Got into 3rd gear there. Trying to not use the brake pedal as much as I can, but proving very, very difficult. Chasing Gonzalez now. Really felt like, I do feel like there's a podium in this, but I'm gonna have to be very consistent here. nicely on Gonzalez. Now, definitely am quicker. I just need to be smooth, consistent. Do have installed here a lighter version of the blue Ferrari scheme. Contested debate, I think, on the forums over what the actual color should be. I think I'm on the opinion that the lighter color is more accurate, so that's what we've got here, but no big deal either way. It's cool to see a blue Ferrari regardless. All right, here, coming out of the hairpin here. Another look, 21 laps to go now, yep. Get it down into third gear for the first corner. Feeling like getting a little better at that first turn. Feels like I almost downshift just to get back on the throttle. I'm pulling up on Gonzalez. Brakes in the green. Pretty nervous to try that kind of maneuver again, going off the track there twice. Very awkward to try to pass through here, but I'm sure stranger things have happened. A lot of oversteer, able to successfully counter it. He does have really good acceleration out of some of these slower corners, and I'm just catching him right at the end of the straightaways. Very slow through this downhand section. Sneaking it up the inside. Not looking feasible there. I just really want to drive these cars on Monza or Spa. Need some open tracks. We're thinking about it. It through second through here. Might be slightly quicker to shift to first, but I feel like easier to make mistakes then. Down, try to creep up on him at the best time. Get that good exit. Get it up the inside. Oh. My feet dancing between the three pedals. You know, to get the wide line coming out of the corner, but I'm right on him now. Oh, and getting a little oversteer into that last corner. Yes, but pulling alongside would be an exciting photo finish. Try not to outbrake myself here. Try not to let him up the inside too much. But able to make that ground. And coming out of the corner ahead, passing on the outside of turn one. Pretty scary stuff. Break it down here into turn two. Just need to be consistent, get a little bit of a gap on him. Alrighty. A few tense moments there, but able to make it work back to where I started. I mean, really, I have gained a position, started in 5th and 4th now, so but that podium is what I really want. At least a podium. I haven't raced here specifically with the AI very much, so not sure of my ultimate pace versus their pace, but seems like we're gonna have a pretty good day. As long as I can keep it together. The consistency is what will kill me. Ready. About to complete another lap. Should start, I'd imagine, start seeing some slower vehicles soon. Some of the tail enders are very, very slow. This, of course, not a historical car set. Been conflicted about racing historical accurate grids versus not. I do love doing it sometimes, but for a full championship I don't want to necessarily know if somebody's gonna miss a race, so allow ourselves to play pretend a bit. Of course, Ascari, a great example, unfortunately passing away in real life after the Monaco Grand Prix. He'll be with us for the whole season in our pretend championship, retiring at the end of the season, let's say. And definitely catching Moss. I feel like I've gotten a little into a rhythm now. It's probably very apparent by this point that either I'm just not very good at these cars or they're very tough to drive. I think it's a little bit of both. It's definitely a very different style from the lower 60s light Grand Prix cars. It's so cool that the same sim can have this varying of vehicles. A little wide into the last corner. We'll cut it in on the exit. Get a great exit there. On the exit, you can really, these cars really love getting the throttle as soon as you can. Oversteering a bit there. It's amazing, oversteering in 4th gear. But as soon as you can give it just even a little wedge of throttle, you should try. It really sets the car up. But you have to be very progressive with the throttle. Full on it now. Hitting the curbing. Most of this track does have that annoying curbing. Where it's just a little lip on the edge. It's like racing at Monaco is very similar, where you just really can't touch the limits of the track without things going a little crazy. Alrighty now. Making slow progress here. Really, though, in the matter of just a few laps, going from passing Gonzalez to being right up behind Moss. Get down to 3rd gear there. Be very aggressive with my shifting. Also tapping the inside curb. End of the lap. Put into 1st gear here. Maybe not the best idea. It's a little bit fast of a corner for 1st gear. I have to shift immediately on exit. Not able to get that smooth exit. Definitely have the speed on the straightaways. The Ferrari 2.5 liter. Pulling me along nicely. This car actually built believe in 1951. So at this point, this is a 4-year-old car. Originally built, I believe, as an F2 car, so not even supposed to be an F1 car. Ended up being just a better all-arounder with the engine specifications of the day. Folks like Nino Farina preferring it. Right up on Moss now. So cool to be racing Sterling Moss. Oh, not getting a very good exit there. Car a little unhappy on the exit, getting wobbly with the steering and the throttle. If I can get around Moss though, you can see Ascari is not too far ahead. Still right there in that Lancia. Oh, right up now to Moss. See if we can stick on him here, make our favorite move down the front straightaway. We're not able to make the perfect exit, but not bad. Up in fourth gear now. Try to cut it nice and tidy, don't slide it at all. We can't hit those on the exit, but yes, coming up now on Moss. Gonna take him down the inside here. Just between the 150 and 100. Brake markers. And Moss got the outside. He's not gonna be able to keep up with me here. The corner's not so tight that that's gonna be an issue. But I'm sliding a bit wide on the exit. Able to stay in front of Moss though, making that pass. Third here for the second corner. It's all about consistency. He's right behind me. Really clobbering those curbs. Again, definitely would not want to do that in real life. Blow a tire right away. I'm sure these tires are pretty easy to puncture. Getting a little gap on Moss now. Set our eyes for Ascari. It's weird to say that. I feel like now we just know Ascari as a corner. But here he is, racing him, passing Moss, going for Ascari, dreaming for Fangio. And a full slide through that final corner. I'll have to check the pit board next time by. Totally losing count of what lap we're on. I kind of love when that happens though. See some slower traffic, hoping we would get some traffic in the race, maybe slow down some of the leaders. If I can just catch them in better spots than they catch them. Oh, I'm missing both second and first. Getting back in gear. Oh. It was quite a few laps there since I last missed a gear, but it's always, the threat's always right there of going off track, spinning out. Luckily able to recover there pretty easily. I'm getting very sideways coming out of there. Still able to save it though. You can really get these cars sideways before they are totally lost. Up on one of these smaller smaller green cars. 13 laps to go. Accidentally giving a wave to the pit board instead of taking a glance at it. Giving a wave saying, show me how many laps there's left. So still a good amount of time here to catch Ascari, but I have to definitely not make mistakes like I did on that last lap. Trying to get out of the way in front of me, but switching lines right into the braking zone is not the best way, buddy. Thanks. And I do love that lapped cars and Grand Prix Legends do try to get out of the way for you. And running a little wide there. I'm not getting on the gas like I wanted to. Popping it out of gear. Need to figure out my shifts. You can see the comments raging now about how terrible I'm doing. This is what happens when you don't race frequently anymore. Coming into the last corner. Keeping it nice and tidy, but definitely making progress here on Ascari. He's getting caught up behind some of these cars as well. He was very slow through that last corner. Not sure where this car is going to try to take this first corner. Looks like he might be going wide. Now he's on the inside. Come on. It's one of the Van Walls as well. Such a cool car. Right on Ascari now. That bright blue helmet. Or baby blue helmet, really. I found I get into this habit with these cars where I bounce the gas. It gives the rear wheels a little bit of torque. The car turn, but very unrealistic as well. You would not jiggle the throttle like that in one of these cars. Probably would have the same effect in real life, but you also snap a throttle cable or do something terrible to the engine. I'm making some good time here. I'm definitely quicker through that downhill S corner. Right on Ascari now. A lot of oversteer. Having to saw at the wheel. And Ascari getting caught behind this lapped car, but I'm able to take advantage there and get past the both of them. Up into second position here. This could go very, very well indeed. For all the mistakes I've made. Running quite wide there through the first corner, but able to keep it on the track now. The tires plenty warm to do that. Ascari right back on me, not looking like he's wanting to let me drive off into the sunset. And once again, have trouble with that second gear shift for whatever reason. Really maxing out the RPM there, trying to get back on it. I'm running wide there. Not a good time to do that. He's right beside me. As long as I can keep it here, though. I know I'm quicker through this corner. Worried he was going to try to leap up the inside. Luckily, thinking better of it. Down into second gear. Alright, check out the pit board this time by. Shouldn't be too many more to go. 10 laps left. Done 2/3 of the race up into second position. No sign though of Fangio. He's gone. I have a feeling that was very common. He was just gone. Trying to make the best of that corner. Still terrible line. I just feel at some point that corner really tightens. This is about that point in the race where you really start overthinking what you're doing. You have to concentrate on the right things. This part of the track, pretty much the same, especially those last 3 or 4 corners, pretty much the same as when F1 was here in the late 90s. A lot of the rest of the track changed. I know during the 70s they had a massive loop that went around a lake, I believe. The track was probably double as long as this. Honestly, would probably be a bit more fun. If you couldn't tell, not a huge fan of this circuit in this layout specifically. Just no sign of Fangio. Might be second for us unless he has some kind of mechanical problem. But those Mercedes, pretty reliable. It's actually my car. I need to worry about the Ferrari. (1955) also being extremely famous for the last year that Mercedes competed in F1 until 2010 probably, right? 2009, 2010, whenever they came back with Schumacher. A little bit of oversteer, popping it out of 4th gear, not good over revving the car like that. Another mistake, bumping the shifter, not entirely inaccurate or unrealistic really. See this time, I'm gonna look at the distance that I'm behind Fangio, if it's even possible to catch him. 12 seconds ahead. Absolutely insane. That was the last lap, but I'm still not seeing him anywhere, so. Pitched really nicely through there. Just the second half of the corner, not able to get the perfect line, although that was not a bad attempt. Down into 1st gear again. I do like how they put those signs on the side of the road to tell me there's a swerve ahead, as if I did not memorize the circuit. I appreciate those signs at the Targa Florio, but at this track they seem a little ridiculous. Thinking twice about what gear I was going to there. Trying to be extra sensitive on the shifting seems to be my biggest issue right now. Just tapping that curb. So easy to lose the car from that. Not something I want to do now. Really need to get into kind of a zen mode and just pound the last few of these laps out. I can see one car was just going into that corner when I passed the start-finish line, but it was red. Definitely not the silver arrow of Fangio. Shifting into first there. Despite my dislike for the track itself, Janetto, who made this track, did a fabulous job. It's compared to the pictures of the race too, looks exactly on point. Some of these amazing tracks that they've been able to put together. I believe he's also making that Spanish Grand Prix track the last round of the season. So I do see a Mercedes ahead, but pretty sure that's one of the streamlined cars and not Fangio. We'll check the pit board again as I come by this lap. Laps to go, 12 seconds, so I'm actually keeping up with him, but he's just so far ahead that I don't think it's going to be possible. He also probably had to slow down to pass these cars, so in theory I'm most likely losing time to him. It was not such a bad line that time. Gear twice there. I wasn't saying anything because I was concentrating so hard on the car, not liking braking. Wow, might not have looked like it, but that was a scary couple of corners. Catching up to a Maserati here and a streamlined Mercedes. Of course, those streamlined Mercedes mostly used, I believe, at the fast tracks. The Monzas, the Spa. Actually, I remember a story at the British Grand Prix, which is at Aintree in 1955. Sterling Moss testing or practicing with one of the streamlined bodyworks, the Maserati, not picking a lane. I feel like he's up the inside of me here. Making it through the corner. Sterling Moss practiced one of those streamlined Mercedes and ended up hitting the wall on the inside of a corner because he couldn't see the front tires. Or at least that's how I think the story goes. Just about getting that corner right that time, only after the full distance of this race. One of my teammates in front of me here with Ferrari. Pretty interesting. how teams worked in the 50s. Seemed like there were a lot of rentals. The factory teams, depending on the Grand Prix, could have 5, 6, 7 cars entered. Down into third gear. Through the S, taking a little too much out of it that first time. I do see another Mercedes up there. So tough to tell. Many of the cars look really identical in this season. That's one of the things I've definitely noticed. The 60s got far more interesting paint scheme wise. This might be Nino Ferrari. Ugh. And touching my teammate on the front straightaway, swerving erratically. Thanks a lot. Really almost took me out, and actually the car is quite damaged. Wow. Definitely something wrong with the right front tire because of that impact. Oh, I'm gonna have to really try there not to spin the car out. Still swerving, trying to get out of the way. The car feels fine under acceleration, but as soon as I go to turn or manipulate the throttle, let off the gas there, it just swerves. Oh, I'm running into the grass, and I know Ascari right there just passes me. And I can see Moss behind me too. This is just the worst scenario, and quite a few laps to go. And I believe I have a flat tire is really what's happening. It might be too far to limp here. It's definitely going to take somebody out. And it definitely is a puncture. Wow, and that Maserati just skating by. There goes Sterling Moss as well. My podium is gone. All because of my teammate. That must have been Nino Ferrari too. We'll have to have a speaking to the boys in Maranello after this. See Gonzalez coming up behind me. Want to try to finish into the points. To look at how many laps are left. 3 more laps of this. I'm going to try. Hope the car is very upset. I can possibly learn how it drives. And I've got Gonzalez right on me. And there she goes. Spinning out, getting it back into gear though. I'll have to see how much of a lead I have here. I know we were quite a ways ahead, but do I have enough of a lead to limp around here for another 2.5 laps like this into first gear? Thank God this is a short course after all. Not be able to do this at like the Nürburgring or something. Thought I got away with that incident with Nino there. Pretty sure it's Nino. We're gonna check that out after the Grand Prix. Not seeing anybody in my mirrors. There's a sliver of hope here I can keep it in the top 6. Car pulls to the left quite dramatically, does not like to turn left at all, turns right almost fine, almost too much now. Almost guarantee in real life somebody would park this thing. It's going to kill me. Down into second here. Back up the gears, not going to be able to turn very well in this last corner. and I do have quite a lead. 2 laps to go. 2 more laps of this. This turn 1 is very difficult right now. The car just not predictable anymore. Must be my left rear almost feels like is what's flat. The car's leaning to that side. Might be my left front. Down to 3rd gear here. Doing semi all right here. This corner specifically very, very tough. And I am lucky that most of the turns are right-handed because the car does not turn left. Watch this corner. Full steering input. Just barely making it around the turn. It must be that right front. I honestly do not know. It could be suspension damage too. Never know. Coming now to this S turn. Just really not liking to turn to the left, then turns way too much to the right. But almost done, completed a lap. Got 1 more to go after this. And really had a solid lead there on most of the field. To be able to stay out like this, so my lap times are extremely slow now. Come across 1 more lap to go. They were only 20 seconds back last lap. I had lost 15-14 seconds from the lap previous. There should, if my math is correct, by the end of this lap, they should be right there. Have to do the very best I can. The car is sliding a lot. Able to catch it. I'll say, learning how to drive this screwed up car. Braking is very difficult. Turning, difficult. And very different in each direction. Crowd cheering as they see this damaged Ferrari wheeze on past. Still not seeing anybody in my rear view. Flagman waving now. Fangio's most likely just won the race. Second gear, just full opposite lock, or full lock rather, trying to turn the car. Still can't see anybody in my mirror. There is hope here. Coming in 2 corners left. I feel like I'm racing a dirt car. Get on the gas now. Just 1 corner to go. I see a red car in my mirrors, but it's going to be too far back. And here we come to the line. Oh, and we did it. We finished the race 5th place, which should net us some points. But absolutely insane ending there. And, but after all that work, here comes Lancia behind me and almost spinning out myself. Lancia taking a look at my car and wondering what the hell happened to that car. I'll park it here on the road. No way I'm going to do even another lap of this. Oh, and Mercedes right behind him. So let's take a look here at the results of the race. So if we look at the standings, Fangio wins it from Ascari, from Moss, from Gonzalez, and from myself. 5th place, it feels like a victory to me. I don't know, I'm going to have to watch the footage because I'm not sure how I could have avoided that car. And that was Tringent, I believe is how you would say it. And that's who I hit. It wasn't Farina. Farina was well ahead. Actually, oddly enough, I believe this man Tringen, I'll learn how to pronounce it for the next video. I believe he actually won the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's not showing the driving characteristics in this example that would lead you to believe that that's true. But able to take the 5th position, which is more than fine with me after the end there. Could have had a podium. Definitely wasn't going to catch Fangio, but we did what we did. We got what we got. So it's really the end of it here. Next up, we'll be going to Monaco, which should prove to be a better race, I guess. Hopefully, it'll be very difficult with all the walls and everything there to keep these cars under control. But I hope you enjoyed this. I know my driving was kind of atrocious, but I hope it was at least somewhat entertaining. And we'll see you in Monaco.